Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Grzymkowski. I'm one of the assistant directors here at the Graduate Admissions Office at William Paterson University. Want to thank all of you for taking time out of your schedule on this beautiful sunny day to join us for our online orientation for new graduate students. I want to make sure we have the opportunity to congratulate all of you. You are either pursuing courses as a student in one of our programs, a matriculated student, or you might be a graduate non-degree or a postmaster's student. And the purpose of this is to give you certainly as much helpful information as we can in a relatively short window of time. I know there are always very case-specific circumstances. You may have other things that you need addressed, and sometimes that'll take the assistance of other departments here on campus, but want to make every effort at giving you the information you need now so you can worry about the start of classes and not have to worry about all the other little details that come with it. So again, we are recording this session and we are going to make it available to you in its entirety before the close of business today. Our office closed today at 5:15 p.m. So the good news is if you have to leave early for one reason or another, I know there are family obligations, there are work obligations, there will be the opportunity to go back and review this, hopefully from the convenience of a couch or otherwise, whatever works best for you. So do feel free to be hands-free. You don't have to worry about a pen taking notes or anything else. There are some links and other things that are not clickable here for the presentation, but that you can refer back to, and some details that are broken down that you might find helpful further down the line. So you'll be getting a email to your email address from our office that includes the link directly to our YouTube channel where you could review the presentation. If you have any very specific questions as we go through, you can type them in the chat box there. If they are not addressed as we go through the slides, I'll certainly make every effort to answer the question myself. Or, as I said, if it gets to the point where it's a very, very case-specific thing or it requires the assistance of another department here, whether it's one of our academic departments, the registrar, student enrollment services, or otherwise, I'll make sure that we point you in the right direction or get you the information that will help answer your question. So without further ado, we'll jump into the presentation. This is an aerial view of our main campus. I do think it's important to note that we have two campuses. We have our main campus. The address is 300 Pompton Road in Wayne. We also have our Valley Road campus, which is a few short miles down the road at 1600 Valley Road. So for those of you that are pursuing business and education courses, the bulk of your classes would be on our Valley Road campus. For the majority of our other academic programs, you'll probably have the bulk of your classes here on our main campus. So this is the aerial view of our main campus. I do realize some of you may have not had the opportunity yet to step foot on campus, and some of you may actually do so for the first time tomorrow, which is where when classes begin for our 12-week and some of our first sessions for the summer. I just want to make sure you had a chance to see the campus. It is a beautiful campus. We are obviously fortunate to have a very sunny day today. If you need to take care of anything as far as ID cards, etc., you're more than welcome to come by today before offices close, and we'll talk about some of that in just a little bit. But this is just so you can get a quick aerial view of the campus. So we're going to go over a number of things. You can see the bullets there on the different items we're going to go over. Everything from WP Connect, your email account here, and why they are so important and why it's important that you check them regularly. Obtaining an ID card, a parking decal, and then some other important information as we go through. There's also an FAQ section that we're going to go over quick at the end, and that will address some of the most common questions that we field when we do these types of online orientations. But like I said, if something that you want to know more about is not addressed or is not addressed adequately, you could type questions in the chat box there, and I will field them at the end of the presentation. And if I'm not able to answer a question for you, I'll make sure that we're able to put you in touch with someone who can. 2 points of interest that I want to make sure you are aware of for times when you are on our main campus. University Commons is our student center here. That is where the ID Center is located. And they are, like many offices here on campus, keeping summer hours right now. So they are open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5:15 p.m. And the process of getting an ID is fairly quick. So you could just pop in, get the ID, and then walk out. And we'll talk a little bit more about the IDs in just a little bit. There are also food and drink options there, as well as some of the other buildings on campus, but this is one of the primary points to stop. The campus bookstore is located there, and their marketplace, and then also the information desk for a number of different questions you might have around campus. Morrison Hall, where graduate admissions is located, is right on our main campus as well. And there are a number of other departments that could be of interest to you depending on what your needs are in the time that you were a student here. It includes our financial aid office, undergrad admissions, student enrollment services, as well as our registrar's office. So it's very likely that you will stop by both of these buildings at some point. So I wanted to make sure you had an idea of what they look like, at least from the exterior. So it's one step easier to finding buildings when you're walking around campus. WP Connect. WP Connect is the sort of end-all be-all for you as a student, as well as those of us that are faculty and staff. It is the primary online portal here at William Paterson. So a whole host of very helpful links and other information are available to you through WP Connect. So you would log in, and that gives you access to everything from your email to Blackboard, which we'll talk about in a bit, to viewing and paying your bills. If you need to look at your academic transcripts, etc., it's all right there housed in WP Connect. So your user ID is usually your last name, which is followed by the first initial of your first name. The exception to that is if you have a fairly commonplace combination of first name, last name. If your name was John Smith, there's a good chance that it would be Smith J, and then there would be one or more numbers following after it. So it could be Smith J6, for example. And then your password is your student ID number, which begins with 855. You may be prompted at some point to enter your 855 number. It's definitely worth jotting down so you have it. If you're looking to get an inquiry fielded by one of our departments here, they may ask for your 855 number to be able to pull up your student record. And that's something that you can also pull through WP Connect. There's the opportunity to search for your 855 and you provide some personal information, and then it will generate your 855, so you're able to review it. So you would log in with your information that was sent to you in your welcome packet, the acceptance letter or email that you received, and then you can see information about everything from your degree program, etc. And we'll talk about that a little bit further, but I can't stress enough, the more time you spend familiarizing yourself with WP Connect, the more comfortable you'll be at finding things, whether it's looking up courses for the next upcoming semester, whether it's going through and seeing information about your bill, and obviously some of those things arrive by email as well. But it is very helpful to get familiar with the platform so you're able to find everything you need quickly, and there is a lot of very helpful information in there from a number of our different departments across campus. WPUNJ email account. I can't stress enough. I know many of you have your own personal email account. I know that will continue to serve as your primary means of communication when it comes to email. But I do want to stress that that is the primary method through which many of our departments here on campus will communicate with you as a student. So it is very important that you get in the habit of checking your WPUNJ email account regularly. Doesn't necessarily have to be daily, but it's certainly good to get in the habit of checking it at least once or twice a week so you're not missing any important information. And I can give a couple examples on why that might be the case. Let's say, for example, that you have registered for a course for the summer session or for the fall semester, and the course is full at the time, so you ended up being one of the 5 waitlist spots that are there. Well, if you end up being taken off the waitlist, you would get an email notification to your WPUNJ email address letting you know, well, we're happy to let you know a spot opened up and that spot is available to you, but you have 48 hours in which to register for the course and secure your spot. If you don't, that's going to go on to the next person on the list. Obviously, if you are not checking your WPUNJ email address, you would miss that and miss the window of time to register for a course that undoubtedly you wanted the opportunity to register for. So it is good to get in the habit to check that regularly. Bills and other things are all sent to your WPUNJ email account. Some of you might want to have it push from either the WPUNJ email address to your personal account, and that can be set up. Our help desk here could help you with that, our IT department. You might want to have it pushed to your smartphone or tablet so that you're just seeing it real quick as you're going about your day. Whatever works best for you and gets you in the habit of checking it a couple times a week, I would definitely recommend that you take the steps to do so. You'd see that if you want to use the web-based platform, you'd go to wpunj.edu. That's our main website here. You would click on the WP Connect login right at the top left corner of the web page, and then you'd enter the information that I referenced before, your username and then your password, and you would click the email tab in order to access it. Obtaining a student ID card. I referenced this quickly before. The rec center where you'd be getting your ID, it's located in University Commons, which was the large building with the glass windows that I showed the image of before, right in room 100, which is on the first floor when you first walk in. Their hours are, as I mentioned before, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5:15 p.m. So if you are able to make it to campus, get the ID. It can be used for everything from library, a number of different options here, and it's important to have on you. You'll see that they are issued to all of our students who are currently enrolled for classes. Your first card has no charge associated with getting it. There is a replacement fee. First one is $10, and if you are in the habit of dropping things and losing them, and you lost 3, at that point it would be $25 for a replacement card. So whether it's putting it in a wallet, a purse, etc., wherever it will be safe, I recommend that you do so. And you'll see that there are a number of different things that you can do with it. You do need 2 forms of identification, so make sure that you have those on hand when you stop by to get it. And you must currently be enrolled for classes. So it's only applicable right now for those of you who have already registered or will be registering for classes for summer session or in the future for fall semester, etc. Obtaining a WPUNJ parking decal, which you would display on your car. I think it goes without saying. No one wants tickets from the police department here, so we do want to make sure that you have the necessary permits in order to utilize our lots. If you are a student, you would go to wpunj.edu, log into WP Connect like we said before. There is a tab at the top amongst several that say self-service, and then you can select miscellaneous under the category, and you'll see that parking permit request form is there. You would fill out that form, and then they would mail you the parking decal in the mail, which you could then put on your car, and that will ensure that you're able to park in any of the lots that are available to students, both here as well as the 1600 Valley Road campus. If you're a grad assistantship, the process is fairly similar. You go through WP Connect and log in, but you would actually click on the Employee Applications tab, and you will see Employee Services is one of the options, and under there, you would select Vehicle Parking Registration Form. So as a grad assistant, you have the option to park in our student parking, but you could also park in the faculty staff lot as well. So that's the parking decal information. Blackboard is an online portal that's used in many of our classroom environments, whether it is a physical on-campus course, a hybrid course, online course, etc. It is good to get in the habit of familiarizing yourself with Blackboard as well, and you can have dialogue with the faculty that are teaching your course, program directors, etc., to get a better understanding of how they might utilize Blackboard as a part of the curriculum for the coursework that you're going to be taking. You'll see that there's a direct email address there that you can use to access it. It is there through WP Connect as well. You use the same login information. And again, it's good to get familiar with Blackboard so you know where to go to get the information that you need, how to use it. You'll see that there is a quick guide for students there. Again, I know that's a long link and it's not clickable, but as I mentioned earlier, to those of you who joined us right at the start of the presentation, we are recording this presentation in its entirety, and we are going to be sending you a link to our YouTube channel where you could view this. And obviously, if you need to jot down any of those links or refer to them later, you'll have the opportunity to have that information whenever it's convenient for you on hand. Emergency notification system. I cannot stress enough, obviously you don't really have to worry about snow days right now, but there are always the possibility that there will be construction around campus, and they will oftentimes send an emergency notification so you know, for example, if one of the entrances to campus will be closed during a certain window of time. Things like that obviously can be very helpful and save you some time. We do have a number of animals that find their way around campus every now and again, not often, but you may get a notification letting you know that a bear has been spotted somewhere on campus, and they want to make you aware of that and where the sighting was so you can stay clear of the area. So there are many reasons to be opted into our emergency notification system. Once you do, You will get voicemail. If you're signing up with your phone, you'll get a text, and they usually come out in rapid succession, one right after the other. And then Facebook and Twitter is another way in which emergency information is shared. An email will automatically be sent to your university email address too. So really, if anything does happen on campus that is important enough to be shared with our full community, all of that comes through very quickly. But most important, when there is an emergency or important information that we need to convey to you, it's good to have it through several different methodologies to make sure that you see it as fast as possible and can react as needed. So I do recommend that you take a moment, doesn't take long, to register for the emergency notifications, and that way you will get all of those things pushed through to you. And again, we hope that we never have to use the system for anything serious, but it is always possible. So we want to make sure that you have the information right at your fingertips as fast as possible. Just a little bit more information in terms of our in case of emergency. You can see the phone number there for our university police office. We do have that located right here on campus. You will always see police officers patrolling around the campus and in the surrounding area. Be sure to program your cell phone with an indication of ICE. That way it's visible to emergency personnel in the event that anything happened to you. God forbid you had a medical emergency. That way they are able to access it and contact whomever they need to. There should be a contact in the event of an emergency. And if someone is unresponsive, if you have an iPhone, there's actually a health app that's there. You can include your medical ID as well as emergency contact information. If you haven't done so, it's obviously could be a lifesaver at the end, and would encourage you to look into that further. If you have an Android phone, you can download an ICE app that's accessible if the phone is locked. Again, when seconds count, it's good to have that information handy for first responders. So that's just something to consider. Obviously, no one's going to make you do those things, but if you are interested in doing so, I would encourage you. We do have emergency phones located throughout the campus, and that provides an automatic connection to our university police dispatch here. There are safety cameras on all of our buildings here across campus, and then it's important to note that if you are making a 911 call from a university phone, it will be immediately routed to our university police dispatch. If you are making a 911 call from your cell phone, it will go to the local PSA point, which will then relay it to our university police here. And then finally, our buildings all exceed fire safety requirements, have heat and smoke monitors, and there is a zero tolerance for fire safety violations here on the campus. Forms for current grad students. Now, there are a number of different forms. This is just a couple of them up in WP Connect. You will note that there is a change of major concentration form that is available through WP Connect. Many of our master's programs here do have specific concentrations, and many of them have several. Sometimes a student might come in intending one, and for one reason or another, that might change. So you would need to fill out that change of concentration form to make that official in all of the necessary areas across campus where that would have to happen. And you can use a graduate application, a paper application, to change from one program to a different program as well, along with a written statement indicating that you are no longer interested in your original program. Leave of absence form. We certainly understand that things happen. There are health emergencies, family circumstances that pop up, financial situations, and other things that might cause a student who is currently taking courses at William Paterson to have to withdraw or take a leave of absence for a limited window of time. It might be one semester, it might be a full calendar year. But if that is the case for you, you will need to go into WP Connect and fill out our leave of absence form. It effectively keeps your registration side of things active so that when the time comes when you return from your leave of absence, it is a seamless transition for you to register again for courses. If you don't do so, if you step away from the university without filling out the form, you may find that you'll need to resubmit an application again, say a year later. So it's important to follow the necessary steps to make sure that everything is finalized, that it's done officially, and that way we know that you are going to be away from the university and your studies for a time. And like I said, it provides a seamless opportunity for you to jump back into courses when your circumstances change and when you're ready to do so. There is a transfer of credits form, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the frequently asked questions section, so I won't delve too heavily into it. But sometimes you'll have someone who is coming from another grad program or started a grad program elsewhere and wants to look into the opportunity of having some of their graduate credits transfer into their current program. And the short answer is yes, that is a possibility, and we'll talk about some of that a little bit later, but there is a form to fill out online, again, through WP Connect. And finally, there are some of you who are going to be taking courses grad non-degree for the summer session or as a postmaster's student, with the goal for many of you to eventually matriculate into one of our grad programs here. So please note that a grad non-degree student is able to take up to 9 graduate credits or 30 undergraduate credits before needing to matriculate formally into one of our programs. But you do still need to go through the process of being accepted into one of our programs. So you would go to wpunj.edu, you would go to graduate admissions and then click apply now and fill out an application for the program that you wanted to matriculate for in whichever semester you were hoping to matriculate. So if you're taking courses now in the summer as a grad non-degree student and your goal is to be accepted into our applied sociology program for the fall semester, at some point between now and the start of the fall, you would have to complete an application, submit any of the necessary admissions documents that hadn't been submitted yet. That application would be reviewed and you would be given an admissions decision, and assuming you were then accepted, you would be able to register for courses for the fall semester as a accepted matriculated student for that program. Graduation comprehensive exam, for many of you, this is looking a little bit further out. Many of you are just starting your first courses. You're not thinking too much about graduation at this time. We actually just had our graduate commencement earlier last week, and you will see that there are dates associated with graduation depending on when you are intending to graduate, and there is more information up on the registrar's website about filling out that application, but you do have to apply for graduation. So I can't stress enough. I know for some of you it might be a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years until this is applicable, but do keep in mind that you will need to apply for graduation, and you can see some of the dates and deadlines there. And then those of you who are within education, you have to, after you've completed an approved program, you'll have to apply for a teaching certificate, and that can be done through the College of Education's Office of Certification, and you can see the different deadlines there. And then there are also applications for comprehensive requirements. Many of our programs have very specific academic things that need to be completed, whether it's an examination, a paper, a project, etc. And you'll see just October 1st is the deadline for the fall exam and March 1st for the spring exam, but there's more information there. Again, this is looking further out for most of you, so this is just to make sure that you are aware. Graduate tuition. You'll see that this is the rates for fall 2018, spring 2019. While I believe the tuition rates for the upcoming year have been approved by the cabinet, I do not believe that they have been posted yet publicly. So this is to give you a sense for fall 2018, spring 2019, what the costs were per credit. You'll see for those that are in-state, $714 per credit. Those that are coming from out of state, it's basically a very nice 1111 number for our cost per credit. And obviously, each program has a different number of credits that it takes in order to complete, but you'll see that there's more information there. Some of our programs do have a different rate. This includes communication disorders, our PsyD program, our DNP program, as well as several of our other programs. So all of that information is available on our website. And again, they should be updating the tuition for fall 2019, spring 2020 in the very near future. So payment options. Obviously, there are a number of different ways that you could submit tuition payment. Some of you may have received your bill already at this point. Some of you may receive the bill in the near future. Cash payments can be made here at Morrison Hall at our Office of Student Enrollment Services. Check or money orders can be sent. Many will do an e-check or an online payment. And you'll see there are a number of different credit cards that are accepted by the university. And there is a TIP plan, a tuition installment plan, where the cost of tuition is broken up across several payments during the course of a semester. So if you have not yet inquired about a TIP plan and that's of interest to you, I recommend that you look at more information online through Student Enrollment Services, and they can provide you more information about taking on a TIP plan for your payment options. frequently asked questions. So as I said, we're going to go through some of the most basic questions that we see. Again, I know some of you may have very case-specific questions, questions that require the assistance of one of our academic departments here, one of the other offices located here in Morrison Hall, but we'll go over a couple of them. How long do I have to finish my grad program? Typically, a grad program needs to be completed within 6 years from the time of matriculation. So if you were starting for the summer session, you would have 6 years from this summer session in order to complete your program. And again, if you're taking a leave of absence, things pop up. There have been instances where individuals need an extension for one reason or another. That does sometimes happen, but in most instances, you have that 6-year window in order to complete your degree. Can I transfer credits from another university? Now, I referenced this very briefly earlier. The short answer is yes, you can transfer credits in from other grad programs, but there are a number of things to keep in mind. You can bring in a maximum of 49% of the total number of required credits from a grad degree program that can be satisfied through the application of transfer credits. Now, just because you've taken grad courses elsewhere does not mean that they are all applicable or comparable to credits and courses that are offered here. So that will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. It does not mean that all of the grad credits you've taken will come over, but up to 49% of the credits that it would take to complete the program can potentially come over. So just keep that in mind. How many credits denotes full-time status? 9 credits is considered full-time on the graduate level. In some instances, 8 credits specifically for biology students, and that's based on the number of credits for some of the lab courses. And then a grad assistant, somebody who's been offered and accepted a grad assistantship position here, must be a full-time student. Is there financial assistance available for grad students? Yes, the application for the FAFSA form, as many of you may be familiar with on the undergraduate level, you will need to complete the FAFSA if you want to be considered for student loan opportunities, etc. You can always go to our financial aid office for more information, as well as student enrollment services. And please note that financial aid is not available for graduate non-degree students. Where can I find course offerings? We referenced this really briefly before, but the course offerings for this and future terms are available up through WP Connect. You would click on the student tab at the top, and then you would select class schedules. And there is the opportunity to filter and drill down really as much as you want to get into specifics. You can pick days of the week that courses are offered and times and filter through that. You can pick academic programs if you are specifically looking for accounting courses, for example. You can filter by hybrid, online, in-person courses. And then you can filter by grad or undergrad. So if you are someone here as a non-degree student who's looking to fulfill prerequisite courses, you can filter only for undergrad courses. If you are a grad student in one of our matriculated master's programs and you want to only see grad courses, you could filter by grad courses. But again, there's a number of different ways that you can sort and drill down, but that lets you start to plan whether it's for courses during the summer session or in the future for the fall semester, etc. How do I register for my courses? We do have a separate registration webinar that we've held. So information about this with more of a step-by-step is available on our YouTube channel. But the short answer is you go to wpunj.edu, you click on WP Connect and log in, as we mentioned before. You would go to self-service, and then under the registration section, you would click on add or drop classes. After you've found the course that you want, the right term and everything else, you would enter your PIN number, which is your 6-digit date of birth, and then you would add the course. Then you've officially signed up. Then you'd see web dropped as an option for that class. That means you are successfully registered for it, and you could see a list of all the courses that you've registered for this or any future terms. Where can I purchase textbooks? You'll see that you can purchase your books in person or through the bookstore's website, and there's more information at the long link there. But as I referenced before, you'll have the opportunity to pursue these links a little bit further down the line if you wish to, after you get our link to our YouTube channel and the recording for this presentation. So here is our contact information. As I mentioned, I know you may still have very specific questions that pop up, not only now, but a week from now, a month from now. You can always start with us as a point of contact, and as I referenced, if Student Enrollment Services is more appropriate to field your question, we can put you in touch with them or give you their contact information. If you have a very specific question that requires the assistance of the registrar's office, we could put you in touch with the registrar's office or give you their contact information. And also a very common occurrence is a very specific question about academic departments. You may go to try and register for a course and realize that you need permissions in order to take it. Maybe it's an accounting 1 course or accounting 2 course you're looking at. You had to take accounting 1 in order to be able to do it. You've spoken with a faculty member and they've indicated they're going to waive it for you. They just haven't yet. We put you in touch with the right academic department to make sure that you could get the permissions you need, which would then allow you to register for the course. Our general email address is there, as well as our website. I can't stress enough. You can always reach out to us with your questions. We're very happy to field them for you. Our office in Morrison Hall is open right now on summer hours, Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5:15, with the exceptions of the weeks of Memorial Day and the weeks of the 4th of July. We operate on those days outside of the holiday on our traditional hours, which are 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. So please feel free to stop by any time, and we can answer questions or put you in touch with the right people. So that concludes the formal part of our presentation. As I mentioned, I will stick around in case any of the questions that you might have weren't answered. If you have any case-specific circumstances that we may be able to delve into a little bit further, I'm happy to do so. Just a quick reminder, if you joined us late, we are going to be emailing you a link to our YouTube channel before the close of business today. That will include our recording from this presentation. So if you need to go back, if you came late, missed a couple slides, you have the opportunity to go back. Or if you want to refer back to any of this information further down the line, you'll have the opportunity to do so. So again, I can't thank all of you enough for taking time out of your schedule on this busy and beautiful sunny day to join us. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box, but otherwise we'll allow you to get back to your daily life, whether it's work, family, etc. And we're looking forward to welcoming you on campus for our summer session in the very near future. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.